You might think this episode is here to convince everyone to quit drinking.
Sorry, it's not. I'm just here to share some scientific knowledge about alcohol.
For example, why any type of alcohol in any amount is harmful to the human body. Why alcohol is addictive and teeters on the edge of being a drug. What are the common myths and rumors about drinking? How can you protect yourself and minimize harm at unavoidable drinking events? Now that alcohol has spawned its own culture and lies are pouring down unstopped, there are always those who overestimate their strength and try to stand in the way. Today, let's uncover the true face of this class 1 carcinogen. On August 2018, The Lancet, one of the world's top medical journals, published a landmark study that finally shattered alcohol's remaining reputation as a harmless vice. The research mercilessly exposed the myth that moderate drinking is good for health, concluding that even minimal alcohol consumption causes harm to the body. To discern whether this is exaggeration or scientific fact, we must first understand what happens when alcohol enters the human body. Alcohol, whose scientific name is ethanol, is absorbed into the bloodstream through the digestive tract after being ingested orally. It is then transported via the blood to the liver, where enzymes break it down in 2 steps. First, alcohol dehydrogenase converts ethanol into toxic acetaldehyde. Then acetaldehyde dehydrogenase transforms acetaldehyde into non-toxic acetic acid. Many people experience facial flushing when drinking, which is not due to poor ethanol metabolism. Instead, it stems from low activity of acetaldehyde dehydrogenase, the enzyme responsible for the second breakdown step. This deficiency causes acetaldehyde to accumulate in the body, triggering blood vessel dilation and the characteristic drunk flush. Moreover, acetaldehyde is highly toxic to most tissues and organs and is a proven carcinogen. The popular warning taking cephalosporins with alcohol leads to immediate danger stems from the fact that drugs like cephalosporins bind to acetaldehyde dehydrogenase in the body, inhibiting its activity and preventing rapid metabolism of acetaldehyde. This triggers the so-called disulfiram-like reaction, which can cause nausea, vomiting, headache, chest pain, difficulty breathing, liver damage, anaphylactic shock, and even death in severe cases. Strictly speaking, facial flushing after drinking is a sign of ethanol poisoning. Some people who don't blush easily when drinking might feel self-satisfied, thinking they are rare alcohol tolerance prodigy. But consider this possibility: maybe your liver is terrible at metabolizing ethanol in the first step. Even a small amount of alcohol causes large amounts of ethanol to accumulate in the bloodstream, leading to rapid intoxication, rambling, crying, and soon falling into a stupor. Unmetabolized ethanol in the liver is carried by the blood to the brain, where it inhibits the nervous system. It enhances the effect of GABA while suppressing glutamate. Medically, alcohol is classified as a sedative. This claim is often questioned because people initially become more talkative and active after drinking. This is because alcohol sedates the prefrontal cortex, the brain center for logic, reason, and emotional control. With this area dampened, you feel relaxed and uninhibited. Introverted individuals may suddenly chat freely, dance, or even cry in public after drinking. As alcohol affects other brain regions such as the hippocampus and the cerebellum, you gradually experience mental sluggishness, loss of balance, and memory fog. This is why we emphasize never drink and drive. If you don't stop at this stage, the medulla oblongata in the brainstem will be suppressed, posing a life-threatening risk. News of alcohol-related deaths are not fear-mongering, but stark reality. Alcohol also inhibits antidiuretic hormone, overworking the kidneys and causing frequent urination, often exceeding fluid intake, leading to dehydration. This explains the intense thirst after waking from a drunk state. For a substance that causes cancer, damages the liver, kidneys, and brain, why is alcohol so popular? Like many addictive drugs, it stimulates dopamine and endorphin release. On the surface, it seems like a source of joy and calm, but doesn't this resemble other addictive substances? Over time, the brain reduces dopamine and endorphin sensitivity to adapt to alcohol. requiring higher doses to feel pleasure, a cycle that drives addiction. While building tolerance is possible, it's a slippery slope into dependence. Addicts experience neural changes, abstinence causes anxiety, trembling, and even hallucination. Drinking becomes a physiological necessity, not a choice for pleasure. Thankfully, most ethnic Chinese lack acetaldehyde dehydrogenase, making acetaldehyde buildup, cause flushing, nausea, and pain, natural barriers against addiction. Many avoid alcohol due to these discomforts, sparing themselves from dependence. Gratitude to evolution for this anti-alcohol gene. Unfortunately, the battle extends beyond alcohol itself. We must also confront widespread myths about its benefits and the toxic culture of social drinking that normalizes its harm. You've probably heard the rumor that moderate drinking is good for your health. This idea, treated as gospel by wine lovers, traces back to the 80s of the last century. An epidemiological study on cardiovascular disease found that despite a high-fat diet, many French people had relatively low rates of heart disease. Some claimed this was due to their habit of drinking red wine, arguing it improved health. This hypothesis was quickly embraced by wine enthusiasts and the alcohol industry, spreading widely in no time. But the theory ignores key factors. People who regularly pair wine with meals often have higher incomes, healthier lifestyles, and better access to healthcare. In China, similar claims persist that moderate drinking improves blood circulation or softens arteries. To investigate this, researchers from Peking University, the Chinese Academy of Medical Sciences, and the University of Oxford followed 512,715 adults across 10 Chinese regions for 10 years, tracking their alcohol consumption habits and health markers. Data published in April 2019 showed that alcohol intake consistently increased risks of hypertension and stroke while providing no protective effect against heart attack. As a result, no cardiac association worldwide has ever endorsed moderate drinking for heart health. Another widespread half-myth is that alcohol aids sleep. While it does suppress the nervous system and induce drowsiness, the brainwave state from alcohol is not natural sleep, it's more like mild anesthesia. Once metabolized, alcohol causes a rebound effect, fragmenting sleep with brief awakening. Alcohol-induced sleep is thus disrupted and unrefreshing. Some argue I don't wake up when I'm drunk. But most nighttime awakenings go unnoticed by the sleeper. The exhaustion you feel the next day is proof of poor sleep quality. Another reason alcohol fails as a sleep aid: tolerance. What once took a glass of wine to induce drowsiness now barely serves as an epicenter, increasing the risk of addiction. Here's a surprise: even the famous line from Wong Kar-wai's Ashes of Time, "Qua wine warms you, the more you drink, water leaves you thirstier, the more you sip." Alcohol does create a temporary sense of warmth. Acetaldehyde dilates blood vessels near the skin surface, boosting circulation and sending heat to your extremities. This makes your hands, feet, and body feel warm. But this warmth is short-lived. As blood vessels expand, your body loses large amounts of heat through the skin, accelerating heat loss and lowering your core temperature. In reality, the more you drink, the colder you get, well, not warmer. Tragic news stories about drunkards freezing to death aren't just due to cold weather. Alcohol-induced heat loss plays a major role. Of course, scientifically speaking, even after debunking all the myths and misconceptions about alcohol, we can't conclude that it has zero benefit. However, from a physical health perspective, the medical community universally agrees that the risks outweigh the benefit. Beyond those who genuinely enjoy drinking, I believe many people face social or professional situations where they feel compelled to drink. For unavoidable alcohol-related events, how can we protect ourselves and minimize harm? First, eat something first. Most alcohol is absorbed into the bloodstream through the digestive tract, with the small intestine absorbing the most. What's in your stomach affects how much alcohol enters your blood. When you eat, the pyloric sphincter closes, slowing alcohol absorption. That means after a full meal, far less alcohol enters your bloodstream. Never drink on an empty stomach. Load up on food instead. Next, avoid chugging. Ever heard the peer pressure lines at drinking parties? Something like bottoms up if you're loyal, just a sip if you're not. Now that we understand how alcohol metabolizes, we know the best way to protect your brain is to not drink at all. If you must delay consumption, give your liver time to process it. Sip slowly, stretch out the pace, and never down it in one go. Build muscle. Even under the same conditions, alcohol levels differ between sexes. Women have more body fat and less muscle than men. Since fat requires less blood than muscle, women tend to have higher blood alcohol concentrations after drinking. Increasing muscle mass helps dilute alcohol in the bloodstream. To sum it up, this isn't about telling wine lovers to quit. High adults can make their own choices. Our role is to share mainstream scientific evidence, help you avoid misinformation, and make informed decisions. We're just science communicators. The choice is up to you. Why? But minors, stay away from alcohol. It harms your development. Stay informed, stay healthy, and cheers to everyday happiness.